Hey guys, today I'll be showing you Ghostricks, and I'm going to go through the deck profile real quick, and then I'll loop back around and I'll show you cool things, tips and tricks, and maybe some rulings on the deck. So let's go through the deck real quick. And before I go through the actual list, I just want to say that a lot of the monsters in this deck, you could run anywhere between 1 and 3 of them. It's kind of preference, so just because I run a certain number of one thing, it doesn't mean that you can't run that. I'd say that you want to max out on Sign and Geometry regardless of what you do. But even those, you can actually make an argument for lower numbers. So I am running 3 Stein and 3 Geometry. I'm also running 3 Spectre. Again, you could get away with running 1 or 2. Running 2 Witch, 2 Lantern. A lot of people swear by 3 Lantern. In testing, I haven't really needed 3. And I have been testing a lot, actually. So I've liked the number 2 right now with Lantern, and actually after the next set comes out, you may only be running 1 of these guys, so keep that in mind. And I'm running one Ghoul. Ghoul is cool looking. He's actually the best looking Ghostrick there is, but his effect is a little underwhelming, but it does have its applications. We are running 1, so that's actually all the Ghostricks are running. Not a huge monster lineup in the deck. You don't really need to have a huge lineup. I am running 2 Maxis. A lot of people will not even run the Maxis because the deck does so much disruption, and that, you know, your opponent, if you're in a good spot, they won't be being able to special summon anyway. But I like the Maxis, especially for the first, second turn where your opponent's trying to do stuff. Get those extra cards in hand, get to your mansion a little bit quicker. Aforementioned Ghostrick Mansion, effectively giving you 16,000 life points while it's on the field. Amazing. 3 Pot of Duality, definitely needed for the deck. You don't really special summon. You actually rarely special summon this deck at all. So using 3 Pot of Dualities is not a hindrance, and you need the consistency. Double Swords of Concealing. Some people will run 3, some people will run 1. I found 2 to be great. You may even slide into a 3rd if you go against Noble Knights or some of the other decks. It messes up a little bit more, but has great cohesion with the deck. Double MST. 1 Lance, 1 Allure, 1 Book of Moon, and 1 Dark Hole. On to the traps. I'm running 2 Ghostrick Scare. I was playing with 3 for a while, and I noticed it was a little dead, so I cut it to 2. And it's actually running pretty well right now. I may bump it back up to 3 just to do a little bit more testing, but at 2 right now it's testing great. Double Mirror Force. And double amazing card Needle Sealing. I'll talk about it later. 1 Ghostrick Vanish. You can run 2 of these. Bottomless, Fiendish, Compulse, Incel Morning. And that is the main deck. Now, the extra deck doesn't really matter too much, guys. I don't really feel like I even need to show it off. Pretty much, you need to run... I have the sleeve currently. You need to run at least 1 of these Alucards, preferably 2. And then you just need to run a rank 1, 2, and 3 engine. So get your staple rank 3s, some rank 2s, and actually get a Slacker Magician and I think that's really the only good rank 1 right now until Dillahan comes out. So your extra deck, like you see, I'm still working on mine. Just rank 1, 2s, and 3s. You need to run Ghostrick Alucard at least 1, and I'd recommend just your other staple Exceed monsters. So let's go backwards through the deck so I can kind of explain everything to you. I didn't realize this deck would be as popular as it's become. I was expecting to be able to get Spectres really easily, and I only actually have one. One of these that I have in the deck right now this was the real one. This is a proxy. I actually went ahead and made myself a bunch of proxies for the new Ghostrick so I could test him out as well. I'll show you those real quick. If you didn't see, a lot of these cards got announced yesterday. This is Ghostrick Catgirl, Ghostrick Mary. This is going to be a 3 of whenever it officially comes out. Ghostrick Frost. This will likely be a replacement for your Lantern. You'll run 3 of these and then maybe 1 Lantern. Ghostrick Skeleton. Ghostrick Mummy. Ghostrick Museum, a new field spell. little bit different playstyle. You could run a dedicated build for Museum. Ghostrick Werewolf. And then Ghostrick Dullahan, the Rank 1 Exceed. Really awesome card. So those are the new ones coming out in the next set. I went ahead and made myself a playset of proxies for them. I don't really feel like I need to talk about these right now, but maybe I'll just put a link to all their effects in my description, so you guys can just kind of read up on them. They're pretty nifty. These will come into play later when we're getting ready for the next set. I'll do a video and we'll do a deck profile of those. Right now we need to focus on Stein. Ghostricks have a unique playstyle where you can't normal summon any of them unless there's another one face up on the field. So pretty much you have to set the very first Ghostrick you'll play in any game you'll set. So it's kind of a weird stipulation, but it all comes full circle because your field spell, Ghostrick Mansion. Really everything revolves around Mansion, so let's talk about Mansion. Your field spell says that if the only monsters you control are face down, this is either player, your opponent can attack you directly, or you can attack your opponent directly if they only control face down. So, and it halves the any damage you would take, unless it's from a Ghostrick monster. Ghostrick monsters can still attack in for full damage, but any other effect damage, regular damage, battle damage from any monster is halved. So that's why I say this card effectively gives you 16,000 life points, which of course is amazing for a deck that you're just grinding them down with. So Stein here, whenever he attacks, he's got 1600 attack. I can search my deck for either a Ghostrick Mansion, a Ghostrick Scare, or a Ghostrick Vanish. Any of the Ghostrick spells or traps I can search for. So he's really a great card, especially once you start getting Ghostrick Scare going. If you can get 2 or 3 Ghostrick Scares off on your opponent, you can really disrupt them and the game will likely be over sooner than later. If you can somehow get him to attack in and do damage before you have a Ghostrick Mansion, obviously you can search out your mansions and your extra copies of mansions. Just a great card, the best beat stick we have right now, and we're going to run 3. He's also a rank 3, so he can be used to make Alucard. Just an important card of the deck. Consistency is what most stun decks need, and he adds it for ours, as is Jiangshi. Jiangshi has a cool effect whenever she's flipped face up. You can add a Ghostrick monster to your hand based on the amount of Ghostrick monsters that are on the field. So if she just flips herself up, you can only search for level 1 Ghostricks. If there's another Ghostrick out in the field when she flips up, she can get a level 2. And if there's 2 other ones up there, you can get a level 3. So she's not broken, she's perfectly tuned for the game. And all the Ghostricks, once per turn, they can flip themselves back face down. So that's an important clause because now the opponent won't be able to attack into this monster. They'll have to attack you directly. Granted, you'll be taking some damage from it, but it's not going to be, it's all going to be halved. So quite amazing. We are running 3 of her. And the next card is, having a little trouble here, Ghostrick Spectre. Ghostrick Spectre, he's on the fence with me. Like, I've ran every number from 1, 2, and 3, and I found out the games that I don't get Ghostrick Mansion out, I really need Spectre, because what he'll do is he replaces a card in my field. So say I open terribly and I end up getting a Ghostrick Witch, and I have to set her. She ends up getting attacked and destroyed. He can special summon himself from the hand once she's destroyed, and he'll also let me draw a card. So he special summons himself in face down, and I draw a card. The drawing of the card is a very important fact, but so is keeping a Ghostrick body on the field, so I can now normal summon next turn. It can be an extra body for Jiangshi, and it's essentially a +1. It's a weak +1 in the fact that he's hitting the field and he's not that great on the field, but you do need him to speed up the deck and add a little consistency in there, and just keep your board present. So I am running 3 currently. Ghostrick Witch, I love her. She's got 1200 attack, level 2, and she has an effect that once per turn I can flip an opponent's monster face down. So say I don't have any scares, any way to flip my opponent's monsters face down, so I'm looking at a 2800 Scrap Dragon, and all I have is a Witch and say a Jiangshi. I can use Witch's effect to flip that Scrap Dragon face down. I can now attack in for 1200 straight damage. Just an amazing card, and of course you just flip her back face down after that, and you're good to go. She'll be protected to flip another monster down next turn. So great card. We're running 2. You definitely don't need 3. Next is aforementioned kind of A lot of debate on this card. If a Ghostrick monster would be attacked, he can special summon himself in face-down defense position. So much like Spectre, he maintains board presence. So he negates the attack that would attack me directly or a Ghostrick monster, and he special summons himself out. So he's adding a body onto the field. He's protecting you from taking damage. He really is a great card, and you can run 3. Currently, with my testing, I'm running 2. Now, if I were to bump him up to 3, I would cut Spectre down to 2. So, play with the numbers, guys. This is just currently what's working for me. And since, Lantern's a $10 card right now, try it with 2. You may not need to get that 3rd one. And last but not least is Ghoul. Ghoul's amazing, but he's amazing only in certain situations, if that makes sense. He can pump up another Ghostrick monster by adding all the other Ghostrick attacks to one card, and making 1 card attack for like 3,000 rather than a bunch of small pokes. Now this is important for a lot of different reasons. If you fear your opponent has Gores, if you think they have anything that would really respond to that, so we'll say Gores, what's it called? Tragodia, things like that. So if you get that first poke and damage for everything that's on the field, you attack for everything at once, you're going to be sitting in a good position. So also helps you get over bigger monsters if you don't have a mansion on the field and you're looking at, say, a Scrap Dragon. You have 2 other small guys, you can get out your Ghoul and end up attacking over that Scrap Dragon. It's good to go. So I don't really have to explain Maxi. Again, a lot of people may have a problem with this because you do run a lot of disruption and you're really keeping your opponent from special summoning, but I still think that the card's important enough to run 2 of. You do want to get this card off in the first 1 or 2 turns if possible. Draw yourself an extra couple of cards. It always helps, especially with a grind amount kind of anti-meta deck like we're playing. So we are going to run 2. Then we have the 3 mansions, which we've already talked about. Has all the damage except from Ghostrick monsters, and if all my monsters are face down, my opponent can attack me directly. If all my opponent's monsters are face down, I can attack them directly, but my Ghostricks do full damage. So, amazing card. Really, you need to get this out as soon as possible, and that's why people have problems with me not running Terraforming, but I think the 3-potted duality, the allure, and just the inherent chance to draw 1 in my opening hand is good enough. So, we are running 3-potted duality. It really doesn't slow us down at all, and just adds consistency. We already talked about it. Swords of Concealing. Now, this card is just really good in the deck, and in general, it's actually not a bad card. So it flips all my opponent's monsters face down, and they can't change their battle positions. Any monsters on their side field can't change battle positions for 2 turns. So even if they were to set something, 1 turn in, they couldn't flip it up the next turn. So Raikou, all those things are kind of stuck there. And why this is important, of course, is because with Ghostrick Mansion, we can attack in directly. Even if they have a full field of gigantic monsters, a lot of things are not going to be able to stop your Swords of Concealing Light of going off, and then you just attack for game. I mean, not only that, it really hurts the Noble Knights. Hits all their equipped spells, they really can't stop it, and just keeps their stuff face down. It's a really disruptive card, and you could even run 3. I was running 3 for a while, but it got a little clunky. I was getting 2 at the same time, which is not terrible because once their 2 turns is up, you just drop another one. It's really demoralizing, but I felt like it was a little bit of overkill. 2 MSTs, again, another card you could run 3 of. I'll side a 3rd one, definitely. MST is just too good. And we'll talk about MST and field spells in a little bit because it's a really important ruling. Anytime you're playing a deck with a field spell, you need to know it. 1 Lance because your Stein will get Mirror Force, will get Deep Prisoned. It also helps your Stein get over other monsters if you don't have a mansion out and you can't attack directly. So we are running 1 Allure, draw power, 1 Book. It's just like an extra chance to attack directly. In addition to its normal applications of disrupting plays, you flip one of their monsters face down, you're able to now attack directly if you have mansion on the field. And also just stops Exceed plays, Synchro plays. Definitely a needed card for the deck. And then 1 Dark Hole. Obviously, the deck really survives with having a lot of monsters on your side of the field. So Dark Hole may be dead, but it's always a welcome thing. If you get hit with a Torrential Tribute, things like that, and then all of a sudden your opponent goes off, you need a card like this. It's just always good to have in your hand. Double Ghostrick Scare. This card's awesome. We'll talk a little bit about its effect and its rulings. So pretty much, I flip this over. I can flip any number of my Ghostricks face up on my side of the field, and I can flip an equal amount of that or less of that face down on my opponent's side. So if I have 5 Ghostricks, I can flip up all 5 of them and turn all 5 of my opponent's monsters face down. This is great for disrupting attacks, stopping Xyz, stopping Synchros, anytime you would use a Book of Moon. It's kind of like a Book of Moon on steroids. The added effect would be that if you get Jiangshi face down and you flipped it up, you would now get that Jiangshi Search. So let me get her real quick just so we can talk about her. Jiangshi. So we'll say we flip over Ghostrick Panic, we flip her face up, and we flip one of their monsters face down. Now, Jiangshi, if this is actually Chain Link 1, will get her effect. If it's Chain Link 2 or higher, the last thing that will happen is not her being flipped up, so her effect won't have a chance to activate. So keep that in mind. If you're doing this in response to an effect activating or them activating a card, Jiangshi won't get her effect. It's just a simple case of missing the timing, because she is a one effect, not an if. So definitely keep that in mind. Don't misuse her, because the better players will catch you and you'll look really dumb. So double Ghostrick Scare for sure. You can run, again, another card you can run 3 of, but you don't have to. Where was I? Mirror Force. Great for clearing away. If they finally break through your defenses and they're finally doing enough damage, a lot of times your opponent will, if they're not able to attack a few turns because of Swords of Concealing or Ghostrick Scare, once they're finally able to attack, they're kind of going to throw out their inhibitions because they don't know if they're going to get another chance, and then you just kill them with a Mirror Force. It's really demoralizing for them and great for you. And I can't tell you how much I love this card. I played a Pac-Man deck earlier this year, and I did actually really well with it at my locals. I ended up winning a tournament with it, just because of its inherent draw engine, its stinginess, and the fact that it can run this card. Now, anytime there's a count of 4 monsters or higher on the field, including your opponent's monsters, you can flip this up and destroy all face-up monsters on the field. Now, every time you end your turn, almost every time you end your turn, you're not going to have any face-up monsters. So we'll say I have a field of 2 Ghostricks face down, and my opponent goes next. Their next turn comes out. They do herp derp derp, add 3 monsters to their field, and they're getting ready to do stuff with it. I flip over my Needle Ceiling, wipes away their side of the field, keeps my side of the field intact. It's like a torrential tribute for your Ghostricks, to where you don't nuke your side of the field too. It's an amazing card, and another card that, again, it's really demoralizing for the opponent. Ghostrick Vanish. I was playing around with 2 of this card, and if I have a Ghostrick in my hand, I can reveal it. When I activate this, I can reveal it, and my monsters can't be targeted that turn, my Ghostrick monsters, and they can't be destroyed by card effects. So, really good to do in response to maybe a Torrential, a Mirror Force, or a Dark Hole. And just a good card to get out of certain situations. It also will save your Ghostrick Mansion because it says Ghostrick cards, not just Ghostrick monsters. So if they MST it, you can flip over Vanish, reveal a Ghostrick in your hand, and save your mansion. So good application there. And then we just have staples back here. And I saw someone saying that, oh, you shouldn't run Solemn Warning in the deck. You're getting hit directly each turn. Hey, man, you're getting hit for half damage by their monsters. It's not like you're getting creamed for damage. So don't let someone talk you out of running Solemn Warning just because you're getting attacked directly through Mansion's effect. You definitely have the life points to spare. You definitely need to use them as a tool. They're not just there to look at. So I don't have much more to talk about. I love the deck. It's been great for me. I do plan on playing it this weekend if I can get out of work in time. At my local tournament, I'll let you know how I do. So there's that. I did want to talk about one more thing. It has to do with field spells, and hopefully you've stuck around for this part of the video because it's actually really important. So we'll say that we're playing our opponent, and our opponent, okay, I have a Ghostrick house out, Ghostrick Mansion, and my opponent is playing Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers are going to be really good after the next set, so we'll say they're playing Gravekeepers, and they play their Necro Valley. And what a lot of people don't know is that when they play that Necro Valley face up, there's actually a window where you can protect your field spell from being destroyed. So as soon as they play that Necro Valley over your mansion doesn't just automatically go away. This card has to fully resolve face up before your mansion goes away. So there's actually a very small window when they play their field spell, and it's still trying to activate, that you can MST. You can MST this card and save your field spell. A lot of people don't know that, and when you're running this deck, think about all the things that are going to be relevant in the meta. We have Dragon's Ravine currently. We have Madolche field spell, whatever that's called. And you know, you're going to be running into other Ghostrick decks. Granted, they're not going to be playing their mansion over yours. That'd be kind of dumb. But then you'll be running into Necro Valley, things like that. So it's really important to know that when they play their face-up field spell and attempt to get rid of yours and use theirs, there is a window where you can MST their card and yours will still stay. So I'm just going to leave you with that thought. Ghostricks are awesome. And if you want me to do a deck profile using the new stuff from the next set, I can definitely do that too. Again, I just made these today, so I'm kind of excited to put them to use. But I really appreciate you guys sticking around, and have a great day.